Hello student, I'm Mr. Leung. So in this video, we are going to talk about the reading to learn again. So remember, once we investigate different biological phenomenon, or we need to invent some new advancement of biotechnology, so it's time for us to apply what we learn in the textbook and put it in our daily life. So in this video, we are going to study two cases. The first one is the artificial retina, and the second one is the headless chicken. So the first one, artificial retina, in this part I would like to remind you again, for studying science, not only for the science subject, not only for the biological knowledge, we need to talk about the technology, how can we apply it in our daily life, and also how does it the technology have any impact on our society or even environment. But in this case, we are not going to talk about environment at all, so just science, technology, and also the society, because once the advanced scientific or technological innovation are built up, okay, so it can help us to improve the human life in our society. So for the artificial retina, actually it can help someone, okay, the people who are blind due to the defect in the retina, that means the damaged retina, okay, they may restore limited eyesight with the artificial retina. So remember that someone they become blind, there may be many reasons. For example, if the visual center in their brain is damaged, they cannot see things at all, okay, or if the optic nerve is damaged, so they cannot see things as well. So in this case, we just focus on the damaged retina, and the artificial retina is a small disc consisting of electrode. Okay, so the electrode, they will emit some electrical signal to the retina to stimulate the retina. Okay, and then this disc will be implanted in the retina of the blind people. Okay, and then we shall take a look how does it work, okay, in the next slide. And later on, okay, the people, they will see some simple image as the pattern of the light and dark, just like this. Okay, so that's the those picture of the artificial retina. How can this install to our eye, okay, and also in our eyeball. Okay, let's take a look at the working principle of the artificial retina. So the camera, they will capture the image. Remember, that's the image but not the video, okay, and then send the data to the transmitter, and then the transmitter, it will convert the data to send it to the receiver implanted at the eyeball. Once the receiver convert the data, receive the data, and then they will convert the data to electrical signals and then send the signal to the artificial retina. And once the electrode on the artificial retina are stimulated, they will send message to the brain. So remember that, what is that message to the brain? Of course, in the artificial device, okay, we just use the message, we just the word message to describe it. But of course, in our human body, okay, it's not just a message, okay, we have a technical term for them. So let's take a look at the first question. What's the role of the retina in producing sight? That means in the normal case, in the natural case, okay. So what is the role of the retina? So I want you to recall the specialized cells, okay, that means the receptors in the retina, okay, which detect light. So don't just write down receptor. What are they? Okay, how can they be stimulated? Okay, they are stimulated by what? Okay, and then what do they do, okay, to generate something? Okay, so what do they generate, and then will transmit this something to the brain for interpretation. So at least, okay, according to this word, messages. So what is the message produced by the retina in our human body? And for the second question, compare with the process of seeing things with a normal eye. So which structures of the eye are bypassed? That means actually they will not be involved in seeing things, okay, once we use the artificial retina to see. So the point is that, as mentioned in the working principle of the artificial retina, you need to ask me this first question: does the light really need to enter the eyes, like the process of seeing things with a normal eye. If not, okay, which structure is or are bypassed. Okay, so somehow in the normal eyesight, okay, the light ray they need to pass through the lens, the pupil, okay, and then will be focused on the retina, and then the light will stimulate the receptor on the retina and then generate a nerve impulse, right? Okay, but for the case of artificial retina, the whole system, the whole device, okay, actually does the light really need to enter the eyes at all? Okay, and of course there are 3 masks, so there should be 3 structures. And also for question 3, which causes of blindness can be corrected by the artificial retina? So as mentioned in the paragraph, okay, you should know that one of the causes will be the damaged retina, okay, in a general description, okay. But I want you to think more about the cause 2, okay, the second cause, okay, with a specific description. So the point is that non-functioning of which type of receptor, okay, in the retina, okay, so it can also be corrected by the artificial retina. So what you need to recall is that in the retina, what do we have, okay, or the receptor, or which kind of receptor, okay, at least the hint is that 2 types, okay, and I think you know which 2 types. And question 4 already stated 2 limitations of the artificial retina. So the point is that for the limitation, okay, I use these 2 pictures, okay, to demonstrate the first and the second limitation first. The first limitation is that it cannot restore the eyesight in people who are blind due to the damages of the optic nerve or the visual center of the brain. As I mentioned before, if the people become blind because the optic nerve is damaged or the visual center of the brain is damaged, even there is a nerve impulse generated by the retina, okay, the nerve impulse cannot be transmitted to the brain, okay, if the optic nerve is damaged, or if the optic nerve is fine, it's okay, it's not that damaged, it's intact. But if the visual center of your brain is damaged, so your brain cannot interpret, okay, cannot analyze the nerve impulse at all, okay. So that's the first case. And the second case is that you can take a look at the image, okay, what can the patient see by using the artificial retina. You can take a look at the resolution, the pixels, okay, actually is quite low, okay, the image is not very clear and sharp, okay. So the point is that the limitation is it can only restore vision partially but not fully recover, okay. So these 2 parts, okay, is just like the case of the cochlear implant, okay. So for the cochlear implant, we also have the external device, okay, and then they will send the messages, okay, to stimulate the sensory hair cell, and then the sensory hair cell, it will generate a nerve impulse to along the hearing nerve, that means the auditory nerve, to the brain, right? But the point is that for this cochlear implant, if the auditory nerve, the hearing nerve, is damaged, so even there is nerve impulse generated, it cannot be transmitted to your brain, right? And also, not for the visual center, but for the auditory center, okay, that means the center for hearing, okay, in your brain is damaged. So even the auditory nerve is intact, the nerve impulse, it can be transmitted to the brain, but the brain cannot analyze the impulse at all, okay. So even the patient with the cochlear implant, he or she cannot hear things normally, right? And for the third and the fourth one, okay, it requires surgical operation, which may not be suitable for all patients, especially for the elderly. And the fourth one, it may not be functional for a lifetime. So the point is that it's just like the case, okay, of the artificial joint, okay. Not all people can do this operation, okay, or for the very young baby or the elderly, okay. Actually, they are not that suitable, okay, to carry out this operation, okay. And also, it may not be functional for a lifetime, no matter for the artificial retina or the cochlear implant or even the artificial knee joint or artificial hip joint, okay. During the operation, for example, the the joint, okay, may not be installed so smoothly or completely, okay. So somehow once the patient, okay, they start walking again, okay, so this joint may become loose, okay. So that's why they need to perform another surgery again and again, okay. So that's the general limitation for those artificial retina or the artificial cochlear implant or even the artificial joint. Okay, so we are going to take a look at the second case, the headless chicken. So the point is that in this part we would like to develop some technique for the scientific inquiries, and also we need to think about this biological phenomenon scientifically. For example, we need to apply some biological knowledge to analyze why this chicken can be still alive, okay, without the head. Or we should think about it critically, because some people, they may think that no, without the head the chicken must die. Actually, this case the headless chicken is a fraud, is fake, okay. So it's not true. So we need to analyze it, and also we need to also think creatively to think about why a chicken, even without the head, okay, it can survive. So also we need to develop a sense of wonder and curiosity about the living world, because in our nature world there are just so many amazing life forms, okay. No matter you can imagine or you cannot imagine, okay, they are really in the world, but just at this moment we cannot find them at all, okay. So for this case, once upon a time, okay, a farmer in USA, he was going to kill a chicken for dinner, and because he would like to keep a greater length for the chicken neck for food, so that's why he hang his axe close to the base of the chicken head. And after cutting the head out, okay, surprisingly, he found out that the chicken is still alive, okay. Actually, the chicken can still keep the balance, okay, maintain the body balance and walk around, okay, quite normally. And that's why he kept the chicken, okay. He feed the chicken regularly with the food, water by using a dropper. Actually, the food, okay, is milk mixed with the water and some corn, okay, to feed the chicken, okay. And somehow you may think that no, the chicken, okay, he cannot eat a lot, so the chicken, okay, it will lose weight, okay, right? But the point is that for the chickens, very surprisingly, okay, it can survive for a longer time, okay, 18 months, and even the weight, okay, the chicken gained weight, okay, before it really died. So the farmer put this headless chicken for the scientists to investigate, and they find out that because the cutting has missed the main artery, that means the artery in the neck to the brain, right? Okay, so the main artery is not damaged, and also the medulla oblongata was also left in the body. So that's why the chicken it can survive after being cutting the head. So let's take a look at the question. Question 1 is that what would happen to the chicken if its main artery, that means the artery in the neck, had been cut? Remember that you are a biology student. Don't just answer me, the chicken will die. So it is just a normal person to answer, okay. As a biology student, you need to know that the main artery, okay, you need to recall the blood content in the artery, especially the oxygen content in the blood in the artery. So you should know the reason, or if the main artery had been cut. So what will it affect the oxygen content in blood, and also the oxygen supply to the very important organs? Because you can recall the paragraph, the main artery and also the medulla oblongata, okay, they are intact, okay, in the chicken, in the headless chicken. So that's why it can survive. So the point is that think about the oxygen level. And the second one, the brain of the chicken and humans are very similar in structure and function. So what is the importance of the medulla oblongata to the survival of the chicken? So the point is that I want you to recall the functions of the medulla oblongata, and then you will know that why the medulla oblongata is so important for the chicken to survive, okay, to stay alive. And there are 2 marks, so at least, okay, you need to recall the 2 basic functions of the medulla oblongata according to the textbook, okay. And for the third question, could the headless chicken think and decide the direction it would go and why? Okay, so for this question there are 2 parts. The first part, could or could not, yes or no. And then the second part, why, that means you need to recall the reason. So my hint is that you need to recall the part of the brain which is responsible for thinking and making decisions for the explanation for this question. So for the brain, cerebellum, and medulla oblongata. So which part, okay, is really responsible for thinking and making decision? Okay, so for this question, okay, we need to apply our biological knowledge to justify or to investigate some very special, very strange biological phenomenon. So if you have any question, please leave your message. Okay, bye bye.